So, on one hand, you have our heroine, Dorothy Gale, who is greeted when she gets to the land of Oz by Glinda the Good Witch, who tells her that she needs to go kill the wicked, ugly, despicable, Wicked Witch of the West. Greetings, peers and queers. Welcome back to another episode of Monday through Friday with me, your host, JC Nova. What I wanted to talk about on this episode, is The Wizard of Oz. I've been thinking about The Wizard of Oz a lot lately, and not necessarily the whole coming out story over the rainbow, going from drab doll like everyone else, black and white, grayscale, to a land of magic and color. That's been done before. What I wanted to talk about were the archetypes used in the film. The film was based on a series of novels by the same title, The Wizard of Oz, Yellow Brick Road, things like that, by author Frank L. Baum. But the movie version is what I'm familiar with and what I'm going to be speaking about. So, on one hand, you have our heroine, Dorothy Gale, who is greeted when she gets to the land of Oz by Glinda the Good Witch, who tells her that she needs to go kill the wicked, ugly, despicable, Wicked Witch of the West. This is very important, and it'll come in later. And those are three of the female archetypes. On the other hand, you have the brainless scarecrow, the foolish scarecrow. You have the emotionless Tin Man, and you have the cowardly lion, which in themselves are three male archetypes. All right, so let's break down the female archetypes of Dorothy Gale and the Wicked Witch of the West. So we have three women of importance in the film The Wizard of Oz. We have the young heroine, Dorothy Gale. She's young, naive, experiencing the world and worlds beyond for the first time ever in her existence. She would be the archetype of the maiden. Then she's greeted by a woman who seems to have it all, has begun to come into her power, is powerful in her own right. The beautiful Glinda the Good Witch, who sails in on a bubble. Glinda would represent in this situation the mother. Glinda goes ahead and tells Gale, you have a quest, you have a task, an adventure that you must complete. You need to defeat the Wicked Witch of the West. She really says you just need to make it to the Wizard of Oz, and this powerful man will solve all of your problems. Okay? This powerful man who lives far away and stuff like that, he has the answers that you seek. So, you have Dorothy Gale the maiden, you have Glinda the Good Witch the mother, and then you have their nemesis, the main antagonist of the story, the Wicked Witch of the West, who in this situation would be the crone. You have maiden, mother, crone, the three female archetypes. Those stand for a girl who has not yet really come into her own yet. And then you have the mother, Glinda, who seems to have all the power, all the answers, but still looks outward for solutions. Dorothy is the one that needs to go ahead and do this for me. It's all about the child, hence the mother. And then you have the crone, who's like, I don't like Glinda. I don't know who this newcomer is. Dorothy Gale, I'm not a fan of the little people, the munchkins. I'm just trying to do my own thing. You killed my sister. You're going to pay. And also, I want what you have. The silver slippers. In the movie, the ruby slippers. So you have these three archetypes of naivety, the maiden, concentrating on the child and seemingly having it all, the mother, and then also the bad guy, which is the old, powerful woman. Going back from the Wicked Witch of the West, we have the old, powerful woman who actually does have power. She uses magic, throws fireballs, has minions doing her bidding, lives in a castle, has everything together, but she's alone. She's lonely. Then you have the mother, who I'm a witch. I can float. I can fly. Look at me. I make sparkles and bubbles. But she doesn't do anything about the crone. She doesn't do anything about the Wicked Witch. Either the Wicked Witch of the East, who Dorothy kills, or the Wicked Witch of the West, who Dorothy also kills. She's reliant upon the child, the maiden, to do so. It's about stopping, pausing, and looking back. Your care, your needs, your energy go to the child, the next generation. The Wicked Witch knows that she has everything, and she's fully prepared with an army. She's got an army at her behest, and she's got the flying monkeys and stuff like that, but she's solitary. She's already established herself. She's already self-actualized. So those are the three female characters that we get, the three female archetypes, Maiden, Mother, Crow. On the other hand, you get the male characters that Dorothy encounters. To begin with, you have the Scarecrow, who has no brain. He's foolish. He says, I'm not a wise man. I don't know very much about the world. All I want is intelligence, knowledge. And then you have the Tin Woodsman, the Tin Man, who is without a heart. He cannot feel. He does not have emotions of his own to speak of. All he wants is to feel something. Doesn't matter if it's happy or sad. He would relish all of the emotions. He is a man who cannot experience emotions. And then you also have the Cowardly Lion. Cowardly Lion, supposed to be the king of the jungle, supposed to be, in charge of everything, in charge of his domain, but he puts on a tough front, but inside he's actually scared. The archetypes here are the wise man versus the fool, two different sides of the same coin. The Scarecrow, a man who hides his emotions, and a man who lives in his emotions and recognizes them, the Tin Man. And then you have the Cowardly Lion, who in name and title is bold, fierce, king of the jungle, but in actuality runs from peril, picks on those smaller than him. But in the end, he becomes courageous, he becomes heroic, he becomes self-actualized, to the point where he finds his valor, he finds his courage. Cowardly Lion. So what can we learn about these 6 different archetypes, the 3 female and the 3 male? Beginning with the 3 female, this is a mindset that most of society holds, that ultimately women are not complete without finding their wizard, finding the man to solve all their problems. But also, they're on an epic journey. They're constantly changing roles. Notice that Maiden, Mother, Crow, all together, are actually one character. Dorothy, the maiden, becomes the mother, becomes Glinda, realizes certain things about herself, realizes her power. But she feels like it's on the outside, like it's cosmetic, like it's for show. All of a sudden, all these little men and women are paying attention to her, are worshiping her, are friends with her, because she's growing into a woman. And then after that, they come to fear her because she's different, because she's old, because she's learned too much power, because she's now in charge. So she goes from young maiden, who nobody listens to the mother, apple of everyone's eye, and eventually becomes the Wicked Witch of the West, where society shuns her. She's of no more value. She's gotten too powerful. She's too old. She's unlovable. She's now hideous. While she was in the summer years of her life as a mother, everybody worships her. Everybody wants her. Everybody is coming to her aid and singing songs about her. And then on the other hand, you have the male aspects, the male archetypes. You have the fool who becomes a wise man. That's one option. You have the heartless man who learns to grow with his emotions and identify his emotions. That's another archetype. And then you have this cool on the outside, cowardly inside, who becomes actualized and is able to balance both parts. I can be cruel or wicked, or fight when I need to, when the call arises, or I can just be myself alongside my friends in times of peace. Those don't necessarily have to be the same individual. they are three different archetypes for three different options. Meanwhile, the woman only has the option of being this, then this, then this. It's how you climb the ladder of life and eventually fall back down. Sorry about that. The house got a little bit busy there for a minute. So yeah, basically you have these archetypes for females and you have these archetypes for males. There are plenty of archetypes that, you don't have to be a male specifically or identify as male to be the fool to wise man or anything like that, or deal with your emotions or learn to be brave. But my friend Holly and I were talking recently about how it's difficult sometimes for individual trans women to find groups of other females to hang around with, to socialize with, to learn by example what it is to be more caring and social. And we joked around about it, but it made some sense. Why don't they have an app? You have a dating app, right? You have Tinder and stuff like that. Why do they not have a Tinder app? Why doesn't somebody come up with an app for socializing, girl groups and stuff? Come join our girl gang. We're gonna go get a meal together. We hang out, we have coffee, we have cigarettes, we talk about stuff, we stream certain movies that we like together. Albeit we're living in a weird time right now where it's everyone's isolated because of COVID. But that was just something that kind of struck me as what girl group would you fit into? Are you more of a Golden Girls type woman? Are you more into Sex and the City? Would you be an L Word type girl? I know L Word gets a lot of flack and wasn't really expressing the positive side of transgender people. In fact, it was pretty problematic. The one transgender character that they had was trans mask, and they made him out to look crazy and to be a kind of bad person. But I still liked that show growing up. But anyways, what social dynamic would you be involved in? I mean, there's plenty to choose from. There's mother and daughter duo from Gilmore Girls. You could always do the Craft or Hocus Pocus or girl groups when you get down to it. Another topic that we had discussed was the need for family members, particularly parents of transgender individuals, having to mourn the loss of the family member that they knew or thought that they knew. For many of us, we don't go into it expecting that, one day we're going to go ahead and up and change our entire lives and who we are and how we present ourselves. For me, it was kind of an aha moment. It happened to me suddenly out of the blue, and it was just everything made sense. And looking and you know how sometimes they say your life flashes before your eyes? It was like that, just immediately, where it's everything in my life made sense. And a voice in my head was hey, this is you. But it was hard for my family, and it's hard for a lot of different families. Whoever it is that is struggling with your change of identity, most often a parent or a sibling, sometimes even a spouse, the person that you used to be and how you used to present, the mask that you wore, falls away, but they still see you and perceive you in their mind like that. And then they need to mourn that loss, that individual that they knew, that they created in their head as your avatar. They're dead. They're not coming back. And it's a process for them to understand that and feel grief over the loss of that individual. And while you're just now starting to live and express yourself and be a little bit more, take a little bit more care in life and actually live it instead of just dragging your feet and doing the things that you're expected to do, you're finally living for the first time ever. Meanwhile, the people that you care about are grieving. They view it as a death. You view it as a birth. that does kind of get into the whole archetypes type thing once more. To them, the individual that they knew all along no longer exists, and they have to deal with not having that person around anymore, not being able to hug them, celebrate with them. The reverse side, you're finally like not hazy, not living in a fog, not, trapped in a world that doesn't make sense. You're finally like experiencing life for the first time and living for the first time, and in a time where you want to share that joy and that wonder, and oh my God, everything's all of a sudden, this gray, black and white world is now in color, and everything's so vibrant, and I get it, and I understand, and I'm marching towards a purpose. The people around you are still in Kansas, and they're the ones that like dragged you and laid you down in the bed and are like hoping that you recover. Only you're not going to recover. You're not going to wake up and be like, you were there, and you were there, and you were there. You're gone. You're not Dorothy in Kansas anymore. You're not Dorothy in Kansas anymore. You're not waking up from the twister, from the tornado. But even if everything about you changes, we're still us in some ways. We're still at our core the same person that they knew. And most of the time, I'd say, the person who's grieving the loss of their son, their daughter, their brother, their sister, their husband, their wife, they understand it. But it takes them time. And for every individual, it's going to take a different amount of time. Until they come to realize that, hey, now I have a new daughter. Now I have a new son. Now I have a new, sister. Now I have a new brother. This is my wife now. This is my husband. And not just those two binaries, but like anything in between. If you change and it's drastic enough and it's not what they expected, that can cause some problems. I know me personally, I ended up losing at least 2 of my close family members. I had 3, and only one of them still talks to me, my mom. But like, I don't talk to my dad anymore, and I definitely don't talk to my brother anymore. And it's weird, but getting back to the whole like why found friends and found family are important. When you lose so much, you're empty and you're by yourself, and it can be scary and it can be difficult, and you just don't seem to fit in, and you're trying to make sense of your new world, your new existence, this new sobriety. Everything is wonderful and scary and tragic and just 100 times more vivid. But that also goes for, there's no one here to pick me up if I fall. I can't, cry on anyone's shoulder. No one's going to laugh at the same things that I laugh at. No one's going to be there when I'm like, you remember when? No one was there. You're the only one that remembers. But then you find family. Hopefully you get to maintain some anchors of your past. But your dynamic is going to change with them too. Just like they have to view you as a new person, you have to view a new role for yourself. I used to be, XYZ, but now I'm like ABC. I used to be this to this person, but now my relationship has changed and I'm this to this person. And you try to like backtrack and integrate it with your past or any like previous interactions that you had with them. And sometimes it can be confusing. Remember when you taught me how to ride a bike? And then you're like, well, I was always this. It's just you and me both saw me as this. But found friends, found family. I like that, found family. A community of people around you. Be it like a girl group. Be it like nieces, nephews, and nibblings. Be it like neighbors who understand you, or anyone that shares with you, shares their life with you. A partner, a friend over the internet, especially that seems to be a big one for a lot of us, is just strangers that we've never met, but they are more than strangers. They're always there with a word or, advice, or just like, hey, we get it. We understand too. It's amazing. And like, human beings are social animals. We do find community. Some of us get stuck in a rut, and due to a whole series of different reasons, be they financial or distance, health, wellness, we can isolate ourselves or feel like we're completely lost. But it does get easier. And there are groups on the internet to begin with. That's how I found my partner. I found her through an actual Facebook page for like transgender people in my area. That's always a good place to start. Look for local support groups on the internet and stuff. You may end up meeting somebody. You may end up helping somebody out. We're not in a place in this country yet where we can like go out and do a lot of things socially in large groups, but there's still like means and ways of like meeting people. Another good one is finding, say that you're going from presenting one way to another, finding people who maybe your body style, maybe your body type, asking, hey, I need clothes right now. I don't have any clothes. If you can't go to like Goodwill or like some kind of thrift store, which I recommend, and buying new wardrobes for yourself, because it's cheaper and you're saving on waste on this planet. But like asking for hand-me-downs, asking friends for like, hey, do you have anything like this? Especially if they're like roughly the same size as you. That's perfect. And then you're going to watch it. It's going to be like every couple of months, hey, I'm cleaning out my closet. Here you go. To the point where it's like, yes, finally, this is awesome. To like, oh my God, here we go, another bag of stuff. You'll still find treasures. But like that creates a bond too. So yeah, that's about it. Just a few different things that have been going on in my head lately. Thinking about the archetypes and the like way that society views or had viewed in the past who women are and what they're supposed to do. You're naive, then you're worth something to everybody, and then you fade from existence and you're all of a sudden the bad guy. To masculine archetypes where it's like you ascend, you master a craft, you learn, and you can choose any of these. All of these are up for grabs. It's a little bit weird. Also, how come nobody's made an app for like social gatherings, like let's all hang out and stuff? Girl group, make it happen. Hashtag girl group. Make an app for it. And then also, if you are experiencing a family member or somebody from your past mourning the death of who you were, give them time, give them space, let them know that if they have any questions, that you'll be there to answer them. They need time for themselves. It's a realization for them. This was thrust upon you. You just discovered this. It's new to them too. And maybe you were like thinking about the pros and the cons in your head. By the time that you set it out there in the universe for everyone, it's brand new to them. So give them time. Also, let them know that, hey, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. Ask me. Ask me those questions. You know what I mean? Be involved. Be like, if you need space, I understand. But I'm here for you. Albeit if they're like, no, don't talk to me again, no, son of mine, that type of thing and stuff like that, then you don't need them and they're toxic. All right, my camera keeps dying and I'm running out of storage on my phone. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Monday through Friday. I love you all very much, and I will see you all again next week. Bye.